Hello, hello. I'm doing the meditation with the nature sounds every night now. And right now I am testing this on myself. So I'm doing 1 week only the Yellowstone National Park geyser that bubbles up. It's a geyser that doesn't have a fountain. It only bubbles up all the time. Bubbly, 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 bubbly. And then sometimes you hear a bird, and sometimes you hear wild geese in the background, and it's awesome. Just so gorgeous. Just reminds me of the great noon, as Friedrich Nietzsche always said. The great noon, der große Mittag. And it's a big thing in my life. Noon always has been, and I always associate water, and I associate the equatorial sun that's just straight above the earth, shining down at noon. That's always fascinated me. It's kind of like a high time, the high time of the day, and the water bubbling up from underneath with very strong sun shining down at Yellowstone. I mean, it's not at the equator, but it still has very strong sunlight beating down at noon and shining straight into that water, this amazing turquoise water of that particular lagoon geyser, and it looks amazing. It's hot water, and the water is bubbling, keeps bubbling up from underneath. And so I'm listening to this now every night, and this is the ultimate. This is the best of the best. Thank you a million times, person who made that. A million times. Infinite. Yeah, I'm gonna post my video under your video to give you my gratitude, and the other one as well, the other two people too, and the other people, everyone who makes videos of nature sounds is super. Okay, they are all super people. They get it. They know what's good. They know what we need. They really got onto it. So they remember our distant roots, where we're coming from. We're coming from the earth, okay? And all the beings are our cousins. And Mother Earth, stay faithful to the earth, said Friedrich Nietzsche 130 years ago, more than that, 140 years ago. He said that when he was writing his Thus Spoke Zarathustra, when he said, I teach you the superhuman. The human is something that shall be overcome. What have you done to overcome him? But as I was lying down last night, listening to the bubbling water, the sound of life and refreshment and infinite luxury, I was, just as I was having the most amazing ideas at Dirty Sock Hot Springs out in the Owens Valley. We spent a lot of time there with our motorhome, with Paul and our former dogs. And last time we were there with Samantha, our former dog, before Kenny, and before that we went there many times with Ludwig and Samantha, the two of our former dogs. Ludwig died in 2004, towards the end in October 2004, and then we sold the house, and then we left and we went to all the hot springs with Girl. the girl dog Samantha, and a Great Dane mix. Beautiful, beautiful girl. I painted her. I'll never forget her. I dream about her sometimes. She's a very special girl. And we went everywhere with her, to all the hot springs, and when we got to Dirty Sock Hot Springs, I felt so much better. There was better energy there, near Death Valley. Death Valley sounds like death, but it's not. It's the opposite of death. It's a life giver. It heals depression. You know, the water has lithium in it and sulfur and many different life-giving minerals. You know, like bentonite clay and diatomaceous earth and silica and many different amazing things, limestone, and all of that smells wonderful. It's a wonderful mixture of life-giving elements. And as I was in soaking in Dirty Sock Hot Spring, which is a real large pool. It's a person-made pool. It's a cement pool, actually. In the middle used to be a fountain, but people threw rocks into the fountain, and now it only bubbles up without creating a fountain, because not as much water is bubbling up now from under the earth. And the water smells really amazing. It's slightly carbonated. It looks a little bit like yellowish mineral water. It's awesome. It smells awesome. And so as I was soaking in Dirty Sock Hot Springs with my hat on and a t-shirt because the sun was beating down, I had the most remarkable ideas. You know, I started to really relax. My body started to really relax, and I was, as particularly the last time, was still grieving over Ludwig, and it was very difficult. I didn't get along with the people in Shoshone, and I'm extremely, infinitely sorry for being totally Asperger's there and detached and not being able to really understand anybody. And so, but once we got to Dirty Sock Hot Springs, I felt so much better. All of this burden was taken off my shoulders. No more need, no more hope, no more craving, no more insinuating with people. And then I started to become more clear about myself, what I was doing wrong and why, and how I can do better, and what I need to do in order to relax and understand people better. And so little by little, very small increments of learning. And as I was in the great noon, under the blue sky, with the sun beating down, me sitting in the middle of Dirty Sock Hot Springs with my hat on and a t-shirt, it was fun. And then there was this guy, he was all dressed, and he came with his clothes into the water, and I asked him, why are you wearing all your clothes in the water? And I was giggling, and he said, because that's his way of washing them. We ran into some interesting people. The most interesting people are always on the road, and I don't meet such interesting people in 10-star hotels. So, and I have the comparison. I know what I'm talking about. We met the most curious people, the people that still had a spark of life and exploring and knowing themselves. So quite interesting, quite amazing. The people in the desert fascinate me the most, and that's what I love the most. being naked in a jacuzzi, in a natural hot pool with some vagabonds, and talk about the meaning of life, and talk about the infinite universe and how this all came together. And it's just so wonderful. And look into particularly at night, look into the stars and talk to interesting people about philosophy. That's absolutely fantastic. And all the dogs that they bring, they all get along, and they run around the jacuzzi and they're having a good time. So yeah, that is the meaning of life, is to really be in tune with Mother Earth. That's the best of all. So when I was at Dirty Sock Hot Springs and I was in the water and I was enjoying that so infinitely much, that's when I really relaxed, and that's where the freest and the best and the most creative ideas are coming from. When you're really relaxed. That's why Tony Robbins always had his greatest ideas under the shower, because he was relaxed the most under the shower. And so as soon as he got out of the shower, he would write it down, and then he would get his entire 30-day program together to empower oneself. And so the same with me last night when I was listening to the sound, just the sound alone under two thick blankets. We don't have the heater on at night. We have windows open, and I was really cozy and warm under two thick comforters, and listening to this bubbling sound in Yellowstone. And was so amazing. It feels so amazing. I'm gonna do this for 1 week now and see what happens, how I feel. And then for another week I'm gonna do the frog sounds and see how I feel. I see if there's some difference or if it's the same. And then in another week I will do the river sounds and see what it does to my nervous system, and compare and just observe. And that's how we do scientific research on ourselves. And so what I was thinking about last night while I was lying in bed listening to the geyser in Yellowstone, I created that formula. It's a very simplistic idea that I thought is noteworthy or video worthy maybe. And I watch my own videos as a reminder also, of what I have been thinking about, and to just remind myself, of all my thoughts and ideas, because some of them I might forget. So it's very helpful to either write it down, and I write it down in a notebook sometimes, or I speak it into the video. And I don't save my videos. I don't have that much space in my computer to save all these videos. Only if it's a very specific video, like one that's belongs into a photo album. Then with Kenny or Paul, who doesn't want to be shown, so then that I keep. But all the other ones I put into YouTube, and it will probably be there for the next million years. So, and I hope that the future generations can get something out of it. That would be really fantastic. My niece and her children and her grandchildren and so on. So the formula for success, it's very simple. We need to question a lot. We need to research a lot. So and then I was thinking, how do I put this into one simplistic abbreviation? And that would be research and learn and stop giving into peer pressure. It's these three criteria that will lead us to success. The blue jays again. That is so hilarious. Oh my god. He's the funniest of all. He does acrobats. They're very intelligent birds, the blue jays. And I heard that they have REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. That means they have to process a lot of information at night when they sleep, just like a mammal. Like a very intelligent mammal. So, yeah, they have cognitive thinking, believe it or not. They need it because the way they build nests and all of this, and I see it very clearly. The interaction, they're very witty. They have a lot of humor, and they communicate with each other just like a cognitive person does. So anyway, formula for success is RLS. RLS. Research, learn, and stop giving into peer pressure. And that's it. That will do it. That will get every bully out of his or her demise. Most of them are men, I assume, very strongly. So yeah, and once they get out of that, there's no more need to bully anybody, and no more need to be jealous or feel like they need to get even. Yeah, there's no more need for that, because then they can become that what they always wanted to be, and that what they really are underneath the mask of egoic act-outs. So yeah, RLS. Research, learn, and stop giving into peer pressure. It's these things. And then we can also make wiser decisions. Then we can vote for Hillary Clinton, because then we will be informed about what she's all about, instead of listening to hate propaganda from the right, Then we know that she is none of that, what she has been accused of. Okay? Instead, she's a very deeply caring and giving person. Okay? And she's conservative, yes, okay, but nobody who is like me, nobody who's the extreme progressive like me would ever make it up that ladder in politics, because they will cut people off. They don't want people like this. They're afraid of people like this, because people like me, they would completely reform everything. People like me would reform things. They would turn things inside out, basically. So yeah, they're not ready for this. But we don't right now at this point. We don't even have a choice. So, and then someone like Dennis Kucinich or Dean Flores or Barbara Boxer, or look at Jerry Brown. Look at what they did to Jerry Brown. Do the research on this. I'm not going to get into it now, but it's the typical thing. Every time someone is very, very progressive and is doing more than they can handle, then the person will not even make it up to that level. You have to be like ultra patient, as Bill Clinton was. Bill Clinton is very progressive, but he had to meander his way through. Otherwise he would not have made it. He had to be very diplomatic, or he would not have reached that plateau. And he knows that, and the whole Clinton family knows that. They have to be treading cautiously and steadily. and not overwhelm people with too much at once. Okay, so they are quite conservative. They are definitely not commies, as they are always accused of. Definitely not. There's nobody who's a commie here. Not even the leftist of the leftist is a commie in the United States. The Conservative Party, as I always tell people in Germany, is way more to the left than the leftist of the leftist in this country. So almost, maybe I'm exaggerating, but it's almost in that way. Angela Merkel, for example, is from the Conservative Party. Look what she has done in Germany, which is quite liberal. I don't want to call it left too much. I don't even like that wording, but quite progressive. And a lot of that stuff that is liberal is progressive. Not everything, and that's why I am not considering myself to be a liberal, because there are some things that I don't find progressive. So because I'm a progressive, I want to see a reform. I want to see things moving in the right direction. And just holding the other cheek isn't getting us there. So, and that's why I am more conservative in some areas. But I'm certainly not a conservative. I'll never consider myself a conservative. But I can't consider myself totally a liberal either. So we need to get out of this way of thinking right and left anyway. We need to think. That's why I say, the formula to success is research, learn, and stop giving into peer pressure, whichever group or society we are in. Don't cave into whoever is telling you, oh, you need to hold the other cheek, or oh, you don't want to look like this, or oh, you don't want to be labeled that. And that's why we need to vote for him, because we don't want to be labeled that. We need to vote for a striped person like this here, or we're going to be labeled squared. So that doesn't get us anywhere, this way of thinking. Whoever we consider ourselves to be part of, I don't consider myself part of anyone. Okay, I'm part of the nature here, the blue jays. Okay, the pine trees. That's what I'm part of. That's who I belong to. I'm an earthian. Okay, and I'm a progressive. I'm a progressive earthian, and I invite all of you to become progressive earthians and quit the peer pressure, quit that, particularly the libertarian people. They're very afraid of what other people think of them. That's why they have to have tattoos. They need to be badass, they need to be tough, they need to be choppers, they need to be heavy metal, speed metal. I mean, I like heavy metal. I happen to like heavy metal and speed metal. But don't identify yourself always with this particular, this or that or that or that. So stop that. Stop this ego identification. Move beyond it, okay, and start looking at things as it is, and don't label it the G word or something. Over and over and over, the same, treading in the same pitfalls again and again and again. Don't do it anymore. Okay, come out of it. Value everybody for who they are. The soul doesn't have a gender or an orientation. Souls are souls. That's the inner child. It's free from all of this. That's the core of your creative existence. So let's value each other for who we are. And as long as people are in the flow of giving and being altruistic and caring and good, then all is well. Then Who cares what somebody's wearing? What t-shirt or haircut or beard or long hair or this or that or jewelry or not or makeup or not or high heels or not, whatever. As long as you're giving and caring and kind. As long as you don't wear real fur, as long as you wear fake fur, as long as you live your life in a way that is giving and supportive and loving of one another. There's a little bird in the I don't know. There's a little bird there, and he just came to the window. There, he came to the window. He can't. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! That little bird. He sees me here, and he's looking. He's looking into. We have this little thing there. I want to hang something on it to prevent the birds from flying into the window. We have that hummingbird feeder here in the shadow now. What is that little bird doing? He is looking. He went up to the roof now. Yeah, those are my supporters. Okay, they vote for me. They want me to run for president, but I told them already. No, they're the ones in Washington. They're not ready for that. They're not ready for that yet. They're not ready for the thunder and lightning, as Friedrich Nietzsche has called it. So, but I teach you the superhuman. So become the superhuman and strive towards it. I'm not the superhuman. Paul Watson is the superhuman. And I just have some good ideas. As soon as I will voice that I have good ideas, people will say, "Oh, you're full of yourself." Don't be afraid to be labeled full of yourself. Go for it. That's the formula for success. Don't be afraid of being hated because you have good ideas, or because you like yourself, or because you think you have good ideas, or you think you are good the way you are. Don't be afraid to be hated for that, because that's what we need more in the world. People who stand up for who they are, who like themselves the way they are, and who live their lives the fullest, who go for it, who go for what's right, what feels right and good and genuine, So, and that's role model work. And then give that to others. Make videos and hand that over to others as well. Give out that information abundantly as you can. And it feels good to give that information, and feels good to live abundantly. It really does. It really pays off. So, okay, everybody. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Kisses and hugs.